Mommy.
If you're in the show and you're sitting, you have to forfeit your seat. Thank you. How are you? I know.
Up there?
All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome. I am so glad to see so many people here. I see lots of parents. I see lots of teachers and staff from the middle school, which is awesome. And my entire class. Yes, I know you're here. Hi, guys. These are the kids in my period 10 and 11 class. This was a special project that they did as part of their poetry unit. We're very, very excited to be doing some poetry for you guys tonight. If you haven't already, please take a moment to silence your cell phones, turn off any electronic devices. We are making a recording of tonight's event that will be available for any parents who would like to have a link to view it, which I'm sure a lot of you do. So you'll hear more from me later on in the show. I want to get started right away with the kids themselves. They did everything for this program. From the paper program you have in your hands, to invitations, to announcements in the morning and the afternoon at school. They did everything. And I'm really, really proud of them. So first up, we have Carmelo and David doing Our Generation.
Our generation will be known for nothing. Never will anybody say we were the peak of mankind. That is wrong. The truth is, our generation was a failure, thinking that we actually could succeed is a waste, and we now living only for money and power is the way to go. Being loving, respectful, and kind is a dumb thing to do. Forgetting about that time will not be easy, but we will try changing our world for the better. It's something we never did. Giving up was how we handled our problems. Working hard was a joke. We knew that people thought we could come back. That might be true unless we turn things around.
Unless we turn things around, that might be true. People thought we couldn't come back. We knew that was a joke. Working hard was how we handled our problems. Giving up is something we never did. Changing our world for the better would not be easy, but we will try. Forgetting about that time was a dumb thing to do. Being loving, respectful, and kind is a way to go. Living only for money and power is a waste. And we know we actually succeeded, thinking that our generation was a failure. That is wrong. The truth is, we are the peak of mankind. Never will anybody say our generation will be known for nothing.
If you're not familiar with that poem, what they did was they read the exact same poem. David read it from bottom to top. And then Carmelo read it from the bottom line to the top line, and it says something different. So that's a neat thing that they figured out, and Mrs. Shea and Mr. Musser have worked really, really hard with us to help the kids pick poems, to help the kids do lots of things. I'm going to go next with a poem that the kids picked for me.
It's hard.
This was so hard. This was their challenge to me, because every year when we do our poetry unit, we start talking about alliteration, and I tell the kids a story about myself in middle school. And when I was in middle school, I had some pretty intense dental equipment. It was like a retainer on steroids. It was called a twin block. I don't even think they use it anymore. And it made me talk like this, which, when you're in middle school, it's really tough to make friends, or even get anybody to talk to you when you sound like this. And I have a fantastic personality. reality. But I had to get past it. So what I did was I spent an entire summer practicing tongue twisters over and over and over until I didn't lisp anymore. And I went back to school the next year and I could speak without a lisp. But a side effect of that was that I can say just about any tongue twister that you can throw at me. So at this point when I'm telling the kids this story, they always roll their eyes and like, all right, whatever.
Sure.
And I always look at them and I take a deep breath and I go, all right, you want me to show you? Like, okay, whatever. Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
Whatever.
So I take a deep breath and this is what I do. Peter Pepper picked a peck of pickle peppers. Peck of pickle peppers, Peter Pepper picked. Peter Pepper picked a peck of pickle peppers. Where's the peck of pickle peppers Peter Pepper picked? At which point, because they're in middle school, they all go, oh, well, that was pretty good. So the poem that I'm about to read, they picked for me. It has a lot of alliteration in it. It's called Paper People, and it's by a slam poet who we really came to enjoy. He's from the United Kingdom. His name is Harry Baker. So this is my challenge. It's Paper People. I like people. I'd like some paper people. Maybe purple paper people. Maybe pop-up purple paper people. Proper pop-up purple paper people. How do you proper pop-up purple paper people, I hear you cry? Well, I'd probably proper pop-up purple paper people with a proper pop-up purple people paper clip. But I'd pre-prepare appropriate adhesives as alternatives, a cheeky pack of blue tack just in case the paper slipped. Because I could build a pop-up metropolis. But I wouldn't want to deal with all the paper people politics, paper politicians with their paper-thin policies, broken promises without appropriate apologies. There'd be a little paper me, and a little paper you. And we could watch paper TV and it would all be pay-per-view. We'd see the poppy paper wrappers rap about their paper package. Or watch paper people carriers get stuck in paper traffic on the A4. Paper. There'd be a paper Princess Kate, but we'd all stare at paper Pippa. And then we'd all live in fear of Killer Jack the Paper Ripper. Because the paper propaganda propagates the people's prejudices, papers printing pictures of the photogenic terrorists. A little paper me, and a little paper you. And in a pop-up population, people's problems pop up too. There'd be a pompous paper parliament who remained out of touch and who ignored the people's protests about all the paper cuts. Then the peaceful paper protests would get blown to paper pieces by the confetti cannons manned by preemptive police. And yes, there'd still be paper money, so there'd still be paper greed. And the paper piggy bankers pocketing more than they need, purchasing the potpourri to pepper their paper properties. Others live in poverty and ain't acknowledged properly. A proper poor economy where so many are proper poor. But while their needs are ignored, the money goes to big wars. Origami armies unfold plans for paper planes. And we remain imprisoned in our own paper chains. But the greater shame is that it always seems to stay the same. What changes is who's in power. Choosing how to lay the blame, they're naming names, forgetting these are the names of people, because in the end, it all comes down to people. I like people, because even when the situation's dire, it is only ever people who are able to inspire, and on paper, it's hard to see how we all cope, but in the bottom of Pandora's box, there's still hope, and I still hope, because I believe in people. People like my grandparents, who have taken time out of their morning to pray for me. That's 7,892 days straight of someone checking I'm okay, and that's amazing. People like my aunt who puts on plays with prisoners, people who are capable of genuine forgiveness, people like persecuted Palestinians, people who go out of their way to make your life better and expect nothing in return. You see, people have potential to be powerful. Just because the people in power tend to pretend to be victims, we don't need to succumb to that system. And a paper population is no different. There's a little paper me, and a little paper you. And in a pop-up population, people's problems pop up too. But even if the whole world fell apart, we'd still make it through, because we're people. So next up we have Michaela and I and Manny Gonzalez. Manny Rodriguez. I am so sorry, Manny. No, sorry. Manny Rodriguez. They are doing doing a poem that's kind of special for our class
I was supposed to do it.
because I wrote it for their class because there were two kids who wouldn't stop interrupting my class, and I told them if they didn't stop, that I was gonna write them a poem and they were gonna have to do it, which I didn't expect them to say okay to. So, here's Manny and Michaela with a poem about disrupting the class.
What's her possibility?
Just give me the answer to number 3.
Do it yourself, you won't get it from me.
Come on, how is that any way to be? With your messed up hair and your super clothes. I mean, look at your shoes. What are those?
At least my face doesn't look like my neck threw up, and I don't drool when I drink from a cup. And my stupid cheap shape up doesn't show. I mean, seriously, that hairline though. Miss.
She's bothering me.
What are you doing? The teacher says sit over there.
But my notebook is right under my chair and the lighting is bad on that side of the room. The kids in that group haven't showered for days, I'd assume. And that one guy, he farts like a sonic boom. Cause there's no one else whose time I'd rather consume than you.
Flattery will get you nowhere.
Hey, what are you writing on your paper now?
None of your business. You're supposed to be doing your own work anyhow.
Come on, if you don't help me, I'll tell everyone you waxed your unibrow with your messed up hair and your super clothes. I mean, look at your shoes, kids. What are those?
At least my face doesn't look like I just gave up. And I know how to close my track when I've been told to shut up. And my stupid cheap shape up doesn't show. I mean, seriously, that hairline though. Miss,
she's bothering me.
Is it me or does the teacher look really irritated?
Hey, I'm just trying to get educated.
The day you take school seriously is the day I quit indefinitely.
Are you using big words just to try to confuse me?
Is it working?
You must think you're cool with your smugness and smirking with your messed up hair and your super clothes. I mean, look at your shoes, kid. What are those?
At least I have an impressive vocabulary. My teachers don't look over my work and feel bad for me. And my stupid cheap shape-up doesn't show. I mean, seriously, that hairline though. Miss, he's bothering me. I don't think she's even listening to our plea.
Okay, so how about that answers to question 3?
Some of the places are kaboom and bad, but there are places that just make you sad.
They don't dress on the right, they eat the most milk, they drink icy drinks that will just make you choke.
But these are places you know not to chew, but these are places that will just make you lose.
There are good places to stand, so to study for care when you climb on the trolley, go and stand there.
Standing alone makes you feel small, but when standing for truth, you stand tallest of all.
Carry your values to help you to know when you should stand and when you should go.
Go find holy places, go find your way, stand up and stand tall, and go stand there today.
I just want to mention to you guys how difficult that was for Dylan. Wave Dylan.
Hi, Dylan.
It was about a month of school before I even knew what Dylan's voice sounded like. And she got up here and read in front of all of you, and that's incredible for her. So we have another one of our teacher participants, Mrs. Sumpel.
I am Miss Uncle. I teach English as a second language, and I try to instill in my students that words are very powerful. They could be powerful in a negative way, and they could also be powerful in a positive way. This is one of my favorite poems, which I hope that you could understand why it's my favorite, because I try to live my life this way. The name of the poem is What is Success by Ralph Waldo Emerson. What is success? To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people, and the affection of children. To learn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends. To appreciate beauty, to find the best in others. To leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden path, or a redeemed social condition. To know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. Good job. You got this too.
Here I am, standing right in front of you. It's all that I am, but I know you just see right through me.
Here I am, just little old me, no hero, no king. What you see is what you get.
Look at me standing on my own 2 feet. You may be surprised at what you see.
Here I am, just a bare naked soul, no mask, no pretending. You have to take me as I am.
This is me, what you see is what you get. But take a chance on me, look at me. Don't cut me out just yet.
Here I am, just taking a chance on me to discover what's inside and see what's underneath.
That was JJ and Aaliyah, and they did an awesome job. They had a little trouble in the auditorium this week. They didn't want to be loud, but they did an awesome job just now. Next up we have Jada, and she wanted me to say a couple things about her poem. It's very, very special to her. It's very personal. It's a poem that her dad wrote for her while he was away, and she is very, very excited to be reading this for you guys tonight. So here's Jada.
Hi. This is called Big Girl, Little Girl, and it's by my dad. Big girl, little girl, daddy's little heartbeats. Please forgive your daddy and know your daddy's really sorry. Daddy did daddy things, not thinking how daddies do. Your daddy's little everything and daddy's never mad at you. Big girl, little girl, daddy's little soulmate. Daddy really loves you, being daddy in his own way. Daddy did daddy things, not thinking like daddies do. Your daddy's little everything, and daddy's never mad at you. Big girl, little girl, sorry about your daddy's cry. Daddy kind of struggles, but you'll always be in daddy's eyes. Daddy did daddy things, not thinking like daddies do. Your daddy's little everything, and daddy's never mad at you. Big girl, little girl, daddy's little cheerbox. Happy turns to daddy's pains, and now your daddy's teardrops. Daddy did daddy things, not thinking like daddies do. Your daddy's little everything, Jada, daddy's never mad at you. Albert, go. Albert, got this, man.
Today is the day we all sing in honor of Martin Luther King. Wherever people fight to be free, his name is remembered with dignity. When black people weren't treated right, he stood strong to lead the fight. He fought with love, not guns or darts. He changed people's minds and their hearts. But some people didn't like his words. He was taken away to a better world. Yet his dreams lives on, that all can be free. When we knock down the walls between you and me. Martin Luther King's life did not last, but his dreams and his spirit are free at last.
I have to say, Albert is another one of the kids who I didn't know what he sounded like the first month of school because he didn't talk. And he just got up and read in front of a room full of people. So, these kids have really, really impressed me with what they've been able to do with this project. Next, we have Michaela. She's going to do one of her own poems, and I really felt a need to introduce her because when we heard her poem earlier this week, it's hard to believe that an 8th grader wrote this herself. So, come on up and get up.
I hate myself. I hate my face, my body, the environment that I'm in. I'm filled with so much hate, I don't even know what to do with it. I see pictures in magazines, and when I look back at myself, I no longer like what I see. See, they don't show you the stretch marks, split ends, and gap teeth. They don't represent people like you and me. The irony when we're forced down messages such as be yourself by celebrities when they know full well that they're partially to blame for all our insecurities. Since day one, we've been told to do this, say that, and if I wear this, then a guy might just like me. Running my confidence to the ground. To this day, I can't hold a conversation without saying the word sorry like 15 million times to say that I'm apologizing for just being me. Some days I stay up awake at night, and the silence is so loud it overwhelms me. I can't sleep or eat. Filled with so much negativity till negativity became me, but I lie and carry on smiling because that's the person I wanted to be. So happy, joyful, and carefree. People say just be confident. They don't understand that you get tired and you get weak. I just need you to see that I'm filled with self-hate and it consumes me. Because I was never brought up to be proud of myself and love who I am. No, I was told there were expectations and limitations and fought for every can't to be a can. So filled with hate, I suffocate. It's my fate as I tell myself that I try to pick myself back up, but it's too late. I don't want compliments or attention from passersby. I crave real love, not likes from a social networking website. You know, you start to create this self-image that is so perfect, flawless, and because you think that's what is right. Wrong. See, you can't fill a void with lies. You can't solve pain with short highs. So you result to late night cries, and you wonder why. Sigh. For the longest time, I would blame my environment, the media, and my peers. And it took me years to see that it's not you, it's me. If I want to change how I feel, I have to start from within. Look into my soul, what's beneath the skin, because the solution isn't external, don't you see? You can't solve your problems from what you see on your phone screen. The answer comes from who you are deep inside. All those thoughts and feelings you tried so desperately to hide. I am capable of so much more, and I don't need to hear that from you because I know it for me. See, when you open your mind, you start to see things clearly, your potential, ambitions, and your dreams. You become free. So for the first time in a long time, I'm just going to let myself breathe. Today, I choose me.
How you doing? I'm Chad Comp. I am a 6th grade science teacher at middle school. My poem's very short, but it's one of my favorite poems. And the reason why I chose the poem that I did was because it really reminds me of my 4 years just being a teacher here in Lebanon. Because one thing that always impresses me is working with the students. I mean, you hear these stories and some of the challenges and obstacles that these kids face, and some of these kids have, most of these kids have awesome attitudes, and the way that they deal with these adverse situations is just inspiring for me. And it also relates well to a message I always try to tell my students is that basically these hardships or obstacles that you might come across, they don't define you. Okay, what defines you is how you're going to react to those situations, right, and how you overcome them. So this poem reminded me of that, and he's also my favorite rapper. Right, so, The Rose That Grew from the Concrete by Tupac Shakur. Did you hear about the rose that grew from a crack in the concrete? Proving nature's law is wrong, it learned to walk without having feet. Funny it seems, but by keeping its dreams, it learned to breathe fresh air. Long live the rose that grew from concrete when no one else cared.
Our final poem tonight is if I had to pinpoint a poem that inspired us to even do this, I'd say it was this one. I remember pretty vividly a day at the beginning of our study of poetry, we were all crowded around the smartboard at the front of my room, watching YouTube clips of Deaf Poetry Jam, and hoping nobody else was going to walk in the room. What we came across was this really, really moving poem by two poets who call themselves the Twin Poets. They're from Wilmington, Delaware.
That's where I'm from.
And it's called Dreams Are Illegal in the Ghetto, and this is what we're going to close our show with tonight. Here's Manny and Ronnie.
I heard that dreams are legal in the ghetto.
You know what, girl? You ain't gonna be no doctor.
I heard dreams are legal in the ghetto.
Boy, you ain't gonna be no lawyer.
But I'm dreaming.
Kid, don't you know that dreams are illegal in the ghetto?
But I'm dreaming. I had a dream.
I had a dream.
I had a dream that I was in America.
That I was in America.
And it was actually the land of the beautiful and the home of the brave. My boss came into my office and said,
"Hi Bob, how's it going?
Why don't you take off early? And here's our raise." And as I pulled up to my suburban home, I got the mail out of the box and saw it was approved for another home equity loan.
Great.
The Girl Scouts are there ringing the bell with cookies to sell.
Ding dong.
Of course, I bought a box of Hillary, quieted down Marmaduke, who had began to bark, and later on me, the wife and kids took a bike ride through the park.
Keep up there.
When we got back, we had apple pie with ice cream on top. Then we buckled up and headed on down to Blockbuster to get some videos to watch.
Titanic again?
When I returned, the kids put on their PJs and relaxed in the den for some family time. Watching videos, then all these strangers turned to me and said, "Boy, what are you doing here? Don't you know that dreams are legal in the ghetto? Kid, what are you doing here? Don't you know that dreams are legal in the ghetto?"
Bow, pow, pow, pow. Gunshots.
Gunshots.
Gunshots ring in the dead of the night.
Followed by screams.
Violently disrupting
my dreams.
You see, in my neighborhood, I don't need to read the paper or watch the news to know that something bad happened around here tonight. But once an ambulance leave and the police sirens stop and the crowd disappears, that silence soaks into my soul, sovereign my senses. And it's often over intoxicating society, and I try to relax. I try to relax, but the devil just won't let go. He keeps pointing to the signs that are posted all around me that read, "Dreams are legal in the ghetto." You see, my neighborhood is the bottom of the barrel where drugs get mixed. Here, there are no brothers and sisters, just confused brothers and sisters. Here, people drown in the backwash of the latest
politics scandal.
Here the devil is in sweet control, and dreams are slow, and you know there is no honor amongst thieves, so dreams are stolen with ease. A high school graduate, 17, gives up her college dreams for a pair of tight jeans and a chance to be the next inner city queen.
Shake what your mama gave you.
In the inner city, check and basketball bounce with regularity.
We're crossing over.
Life and death intermixed with no disparity. Ghetto, you live for nothing, and ghetto, you die for nothing. Every day, blue skies are gray. All they know is that they want to make dough.
Oh, I want to get paid, kid.
The devil has them chasing a colorless rainbow, and at the end there is no pot of gold, but a pot of steam, which he exchanges for their dreams. You see, bona fide slaves are made in the devil's dream trade. Without dreams, you are equivalent to being non-existent. You see, children need to be told they can achieve, and that God bless those who hold on to their dreams. We gotta take down the signs so the kids won't know the devil is trying to make dreams not drugs, but he's trying to make dreams illegal. But dreams are not illegal.
Well, one more round of applause for all the hardworking